So, Andrea, thank you so much for chatting with our current diamonds and success starters. Super excited to have you. I saw Andrea was in the roundtable. She is a new elite coach this year. So, I thought it'd be awesome to have her chat with you guys a little bit. So, I will sort of explain a little bit about her and then she'll dive into what really worked for her last year. So, she is a 5-star diamond coach. She is a 2021 elite coach. So, congratulations. 2020 Premier SC10 All-Star Legend. So if you don't know what that means, basically she's hit Success Club for 2 years in a row. She's 24 years old and she is a COVID bride and she actually quit her job at 22. So super pumped to hear from you, Andrea, and I will mute myself.
Perfect. I did make a presentation because otherwise I will be squirrel brained, so it might have to like ask you to let me share. Yeah. I forgot to tell you that. I was gonna message you and then I was like, oh, forgot. Sometimes I just have to make like the guest speaker a host and then I like kick it back to you. There we go.
Are you a
Yeah.
host now?
Yes, I
Okay,
should be able to
perfect.
share my screen. Perfect. All right, so you guys can see my lovely vision board in the background, all of that jazz. I'm gonna push present. My computer likes to lock up, so while I talk, I'm gonna do this so it doesn't like freak out. It might be totally good to go, but maybe. Okay, so hi, I'm Andrea. I am literally a Hot Mess Express. So if you guys have any questions while we're going, I'm also an open book. Ask away. I'm here to help you. So the biggest thing that like I wish I had was a coach in upline that was helpful that did calls like this. So like when she told me it was diamonds and success starters, I was like, holy crap, I would have pushed like crazy and like been so proud to be on a call like this to learn from a leader who has hit certain ranks in the company and things like that. So use this time wisely. I have like literally all of the questions you can ask me. I will tell you the best thing that I've learned or my best advice and things like that. And everyone runs their business different. So learning from other coaches is one of the best ways to help you guys move your business forward. So I'm gonna talk about being multi-passionate and building a badass business because that's exactly what I think I've done in the last 4 years. And I never thought it possible. So I'll share a little more about me. All right, so who am I? Obviously, I got a little bit of an intro, but I am a total like farm kid. I went to school to be a veterinarian. I wanted to like literally play with cows every day, but I always wasn't, or I wasn't always this confident with like who I am. So when I was in high school, I live in a small town. I'm in Minnesota, so like I'm just south of the Canadian ones on here. I noticed you guys are from Canada, which is pretty exciting. So I'm like your little southern neighbor. But I was in a small town, and everyone was like, "Oh, you're the weird farm kid." I didn't play sports. I was never like fitting in. So I really hid behind who I was for a really long time. So when I became a coach, you guys are gonna see my timeline of like my business, I was so scared to share the other sides of me that I've been hiding for so long that it held me back for so many years in my business. So I've been a coach since November of 2016 and I really didn't do anything or make progress until I drew a line in the sand in 2018. But like the me you see now, all these pictures I share, like my life and Instagram and everything that I do is not something I would have done 3 years ago, and just know all the personal growth happens with that. But I am a new wife figuring that. I live on a farm. I'm a dog mom. Like, I don't know, I hang out with cows every day. It's pretty exciting in my life. But other than that, I'm a full-time coach. I was able to quit a job that I absolutely hated. And I'll give you guys more info on that. But here's a few pictures that kind of just show my life. It's just a hot mess, and you can learn more if you want later. But the pictures do the talking for me. So we're gonna roll with it. Okay, so the timeline of my business. I'm always intrigued to kind of know the timeline of different coaches' businesses because you see someone, you're like, oh my gosh, like they hit this. And I always used to be that coach that was like, like she's there and I'm here. It's going to take me forever. And it's kind of cool to know, like some people do it really fast, some people do it really slow, knowing when the transitions happened. And it's always like insane to me how fast some coaches go hit elite or go hit 10-star, 15-star, whatever it is. And others, they are proud of their slow and steady win the race like adventure, right? So I've been a coach technically since like November of 2016. I really was a hobby coach. I was in college. I was like 21 when I signed up. Maybe I was 20. Yeah, I was 20 years old when I started coaching. So I had no idea what I was doing with my life. I couldn't even legally drink yet here. I was taking all the classes. I was starting to go to vet school. It was just a random hobby. And I was so scared of what everyone was going to think that I actually made a Facebook like page and that was it. So I like thought people could only see it if I invited them to like the page. Well, then like my aunt found it and she like shared it and then my whole family knew. And I was like, oh my gosh, everyone knows I'm one of them MLM pyramid scheme girls and my life is going to be over. Because I was the biggest hater of Beachbody and all of like the MLMs I saw. Like I hate the hey girl messages, all of that crap. I never wanted to be that person. So the fact now, like the old Andrea is laughing her butt off at me because now it's my full-time career. So it's crazy what happens. But even in 2016, I thought like all I needed to share was, sweaty selfies. And if you were a coach back then, they were really cute with like text all over them. And it was like 3 out of 21, look at me, I did it. And it was just really like forced in a way. 2017, I got a little bit more comfortable. I started sharing just more of like health and fitness. It was like my nutrition. It was water tips, like random things. It was nothing personal about my life. I was literally just trying to be Beachbody and that was it. And I still wasn't sharing on my personal page. It was only on my leg page. I was hitting Success Club. I hit Diamond in there. I really, honestly, looking back, I'm like, I don't know how that happened. Like my mom hit Emerald from 2 of her friends and my best friend did. And then I didn't hold it for 6 weeks because I didn't know I had to because my coach wasn't working the business. It was super exciting, but I had no idea. I was just like sharing and helping a few people here and there. And then I just had fun with it. So midway through 2017, I was having fun with coaching. I had like got down to my lowest weight. I felt absolutely amazing in my own skin. And unfortunately, I had gone through a recent breakup, and about a month and a half later, he actually passed away in a car accident. So I completely went backwards. And looking back, that is what completely like started me figuring out my life and kind of, quitting the yo-yo cycle and figuring out what I actually wanted out of life versus just being a 21-year-old, like freshly 21, going to the bars, like partying. I literally gained every single like pound of the 30 pounds I had lost back. I felt like absolute crap. So day one of 80-Day Obsession, beginning of 2018, I drew a line in the sand. I had gotten 3 like letters from vet schools that I had not gotten in. I didn't know what I was going to do. I'd never taken like an internship in college. So all I had done was like go to school, get experience and apply to vet school. I didn't have anything that was like, oh, someone's going to hire me to be in another, field in agriculture. So I was scared. I was honestly scared shitless. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I have this coaching thing that has been helping me pay my rent, and it's been paying for my supplements, and it's been paying for like food and groceries and things because it was absolutely amazing. And I was like, you know what? I need to take care of myself again. I feel like absolute crap. My anxiety was huge. I had let myself go. I was drinking literally every single night because I lived about a block from the downtown area of the college town I was in. And it was not good. I had no respect for myself. So I was one of those girls who the New Year's resolution kind of actually worked out in her favor. I hate them so much, but I decided I was like, enough is enough. I'm sick of my own BS. And I went all into my fitness, all into my nutrition, and I started sharing on my personal social media. And that was the hardest thing to do. And for an Enneagram 8, that's what I am. Being vulnerable is very hard. And at that point, I was like in a very low spot. I was struggling with my body image. I shared my before photos, and getting vulnerable was so excruciating at the time, but it has definitely been my secret weapon that I've been going. So 2018, I really kicked it off January 1st. I got my first big kid job that May. 3 months later, I absolutely hated it. I had crippling anxiety. Basically got told to wear like low cut shirts and tighter jeans in order to get customers to buy feed from this company for cattle. And I pretty much said, screw you guys, I'm done and I'm going to do this coaching thing full time. And at the time, I had my best month ever. I think I was pushing to be in the Transform 20 test group. So I had like hit Success Club like 40 something for the first time ever. And my income was enough to pay my bills. And I was like, I need to get out of this. If I have to go find a part-time job and do something, I'll figure it out. Right. So I quit. Obviously I called them. I was like, you want 2 weeks, blah, blah. And they were like, yeah, bye. They don't even care. Right. That usually happens. And I went full time and I was scared beyond belief. My boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, was like, what the heck did you just do? Like, my parents are very traditional. He was like, you should probably go get a real job. Like, this isn't going to work. He still gives me crap and thinks I like scam people on the internet. It's really fun when you like have that belief yourself. So now I just tell him to like shove it and go over there. But that was August of 2018. I didn't actually ever recruit any working coaches besides my best friend and my mom until the end of 2018. That's when I started actually thinking like, I should probably share about the business and start building. And my actual like upline grandma coach reached out and she was like, you should push for 1 star and see if you can attend NLC. And I hit 1 star in 2018 before the end of the year. It was like the last 6 weeks. It's like the skin of my teeth. It was like 10:55. The last link went through. We locked it in. I went to NLC. 2019 is when I really, really, really started building a team. We hit Premier. We missed Elite just with the Diamonds. I just never had any girls develop that far, which is totally fine. Now that I look back, I'm like, it was a good year for just kind of figuring out my life as well. And we've been growing ever since. Like I literally had a team of 3 people at the end of 2018, and my team now is like 100. But it always goes up and down because some people don't ever do anything. This year we hit Elite in May. I had no idea how it was going to happen. The world shut down. We hit Elite, and I was like, whoa, what just happened? Like looking back, I was reflecting. She's like, give them your best tips. And I was like, all right, this is what happened. I'm going to give it to you. Every single coach that you guys are going to hear from, or like you've learned or see a training from, they all have different tips. We all do it differently. Some people have exact systems in place. Some people are super organized. I'm not that person. So it's just the right mix of things that worked out for me, just like everyone's is different. So 2021, I have no idea what's going to happen this year. We have some big goals. We'll see what happens. I essentially just want to help my leaders do the same thing I did this year and keep developing forward. So the fact that you guys are on a call like this to like learn about the whole process and give your tips is phenomenal. And every single one of you on here could be an elite coach this year, premier coach, top coach in Canada, wherever you're at, if you're in the US, UK, whatever. Just know that you are able to do that, because I used to believe I would never be that person because I wasn't a blonde mom. Because when I started coaching, everyone was like, yeah, mom, Lindsay Matway, Melanie Mitro. So there's that. So when I went full time, that little arrow was in there. Okay, so first and foremost, this is always my big thing I touch on. And I kind of forgot this, like as I hit certain things, I kind of like let some of these things go because I felt like, oh, I'm an elite coach now. I don't have to do these things, or, oh, my team is doing this. Like, no, stay in the same phase you started when you first began. So first and foremost, your journey is your top priority. You have to be your best challenger day in and day out. And I'm not saying you're never going to struggle, because last year I can tell you guys, 2019, it was hell. I went through a lot of crazy stuff I never thought would happen, a lot of loss and a lot of just like mental health stuff and things. And I struggled a lot. I still showed up, but I can tell you I had to make a comeback, and my business was like strong, rock solid because of it. People are going to watch you struggle and wonder like if you're going to give up. If you have enough grit to get through it and you come out even stronger, that's when that trust you build with like your following, the people you have on your team, your challengers, whoever they are, that trust is there and they're going to be there forever. So that is a big thing to know, is like, it's okay to struggle. You guys are going to miss goals. You're going to hit certain things and then fall. It's part of the process. And then gut check yourself. Would you right now want to join yourself as a client or even as a coach? So if you were excited to bring someone to a team, would you want to join yourself? Whether it's for a boot camp or for coaching. And that's a big question I ask my leaders, even to myself sometimes when I'm feeling lazy. I'm like, I should probably like get my shit together and be a better coach, because I would want a really rock star upline to help me reach my goals, especially because I didn't have that. So you guys are blessed, again, just saying. And are you consistent enough to be a badass leader? So your goals, take them 10 times then. And I have this picture in here because the comfort zone I got comfortable with, and I'm always like preaching to stay out of the comfort zone. Don't just like get in there. And I'm actually like a beef farmer. We raise cattle. Like that's my life. So doing the ultimate reset this year was a challenge beyond anything. And I didn't think it would be possible, but someone challenged me and they were like, you're always telling me, one of my coaches did actually, she was brand new. She's like, you're always telling me to get out of my comfort zone, and you tell me you're too scared to do the ultimate reset. That was my sign to be like, okay, I'm going to do it. And it was great because I figured out what was causing like eczema on my face and stuff. But it was the best challenge I've ever done. So if you're scared to do something, go do it. That's my number one piece of advice, because the momentum I felt from like accomplishing something hard was what led us to like hitting elite, having my diamonds pop, all of those things. It was like March, April, May. That's when the madness happened. So that's the first thing. All right, so I have this lovely picture in here. I'm gonna go into like, I think I have 8 tips in here, but tip number 1 is embracing who you are and being more than a Beachbody coach. So my all-time favorite presentation to ever give is just like being more than a Beachbody coach. Because when I signed up, you guys know that I tried to literally just be Beachbody. It was fitness, it was health and like wellness. It wasn't anything else. So fitness, Beachbody, all of that, it's cool, but who are you outside of that? And maybe you already are really good at sharing that, and that's awesome, but you are one of hundreds of thousands of coaches. How are you going to set yourself apart? And it's going to be the weird, quirky things. You're going to be like, nobody's going to care about this. Like, I used to rap Eminem lip sync in my unfinished, crappy kitchen in my house. And I have coaches on my team who literally joined me because I was that weirdo doing that they felt like they could relate to. And they're like, if we have a team retreat someday, they're like, they're at, they're like, we're going to do that and film it. And it's going to be great. And I'm like, it is the cringiest, most awkward thing I did back in 2018, but people remember that. Like, there's still people I talk to and they're like, remember when you did that? You should start doing that again. And I was like, I'll let the TikTok people do that. I'm just going to hang out over here and hang out in my big chair. So there's just weird stuff is going to happen. Like, I love agriculture. I hang out with cows every day. Like, I like them more than people. My people are the same way. So whatever quirks you have, whatever makes you, you, if you need to ask like your best friend, your spouse, whoever it is, maybe even like your kids if you have them, or your students, ask them what they think of when they think of you. Because sometimes when you live your own life, you forget what parts of your life are so important because they're like right in front of your face. So asking them gives you a good list of things you should talk about. And then with those like other things in your life, Beachbody, the fitness, the coaching, all of it can tie into that. So like I'm having this new adventure. I'm starting with a new business and it's like empowering. It's like an online boutique and stuff now. But I also am starting that because I'm like empowering people to live their best life and like find comfy casual things that they feel confident in. It goes with that. So I can tie them together. Same with just like being strong on the farm and lifting all the things and not feeling like I'm dying. Because I work out every single day, it's possible. So everything you do in your personal life can relate back to Beachbody and coaching if you really think about it and connect the dots for people. And then remember that you are not just a brand on social media. So the longest time I thought I had to have this perfect influencer life and, you know, have my shit together all the time and not share the unfiltered pictures and have the right preset and the exact photo layout and never ever get vulnerable with my people. Being vulnerable and real and a human has been so huge for my business because there's so many influencers out there, you guys, that make people feel like crap about themselves. So remember just to be real, and that's how you truly get to connect with people, and they're going to become your lifelong friends. They'll be on your team. They're going to be your rock star coaches and your rock star challengers. So just be yourself. There's no perfection. And as you like have these things in your life, you're going to evolve over time. So when I started coaching, like I was single, I was living the life, like on Tinder, like hanging out, doing my thing. Now I'm married. Like I'm going to build a house, probably going to have kids down the road. Like life is very different. You're going to evolve as you're coaching. And I do have a PD book recommendation that helps me a lot with like knowing my brand and like sharing everything and getting out of the mindset of go to school, get good grades, go to college, get good grades, get a job, that thing. That Find Your Fuck Yeah by Alexis Rockley is one of my favorite books in the entire world. It's actually a pretty new book. So that's a good one as well. All right, tip number 2, words are hard. I just like choked on air. But stay in phase 1. Literally stay in phase 1. Because when I became or got like hit Premier and I had this team and I was like, I just want to mentor my team. I just want to like do all the things over here and like help them. And then I'd like take my own business in the backseat, and that's gonna like be detrimental to your business. So follow the tracker, whatever you have, do your vital behavior, send the invites, do the personal development, crush the programs, post, share, recruit, keep doing the things you're doing that got you to diamond, that got you to success starter, that are going to get you to 2-star, to elite, to 10-star, 15-star down the road. You have to keep doing that, staying in phase 1. Every single top coach will tell you that. That's not a new tip that I came up with. That's the number one thing that I took in 2019 at the end of the year when I felt like I'd failed from elite. Because I wasn't staying in phase 1. I went back to phase 1 as we ended 2019, and it's been huge for my business. So every single day, I have a tracker. I'm sure you guys follow one. My business is taken care of before I even like pour in and mentor my coaches, unless they're my like leaders. Because if they have a question and they are like diamonds themselves, they probably can look up the answer. So if it's a question, it's something serious. So that's huge. But my business is still 80% my own business, and then 20% of it is mentorship. If nearly your whole team quits, are you still going to have a business running? That's the question I have to ask myself. Like if this one would quit, if this one quit, like if all of my leaders quit and all of my people on the board right now, would I still have a business? Yes, because I'm still inviting, I'm still recruiting, I have these people in place, all of that jazz, right? So stay in phase 1. Okay, tip number 3. And some of these are my own personal struggles. So some of these you might be like, I don't struggle with that. Well, these are things I had to realize this year and the last 2 years, I guess. But give your energy to those people that are showing up. And I'm one of those people, like, yes, I'm an Enneagram 8, but I also resort to like the helper, and I want to help everyone, regardless of if they actually are doing anything. So give your coaches a tracker, whether they are brand new or they've been with you for 6 months and you haven't even talked about a tracker yet. I refused to for the first like year of me having a team. I was like, they don't need to follow a tracker. I don't even follow a tracker. Like, I was just very sassy about it. I finally gave them a tracker. I gave them multiple options. I have like a new coach tracker, a business builder, and like a leader one. It just kind of like ups the invites, ups what they do. Obviously, like new coaches don't have to check in with their coaches because they don't have a team, right? And then with the tracker, like hold them accountable. So my girls know if they're in a working coach pod, they have to send their tracker at least 4 days a week. If they don't, I'm going to call them out. And if they don't send it to me, like within a couple hours, they're going to be out of the pod for the month because they signed up to build a business. I want to help them do that. They can still be on our team page. They can still cheer people on. They can still reach out to me and be a challenger. But if they signed up to build a business, they need to follow a tracker. And the ones that are like iffy about it, as soon as I'm like, hey, try it for a month, they're going to sign somebody up. They're going to hit Success Club potentially. Like they're going to hit Emerald if they haven't yet. They realize that the tracker system actually works, but remind them that like they're here to build a business and change lives. So they have to take it seriously because that's a big problem for a lot of people. They're like, people will come to me like, I'll just half-ass it and I'm going to have this business. No, they have to put in the work. And if someone like, for say, gets like kicked out of a pod because they didn't do anything for the first week or so, I had a few girls that took out today because they just didn't show up last week. And I was like, that's okay. Maybe next month they'll want to work the business. And I like, that was a very hard thing for me for a while, was to like kick a lot of pods and like re-add them. But those that want your attention and want it bad enough are going to work for it. And you will notice that like people will just kind of slowly hang out. It's okay to have cheerleaders on your team. I have a whole bunch of them that have never signed anyone up, but are the number one hype girl on our team page. And I'm like, you do you, girl. Like, I love you. You're awesome. You're always on Zoom, but they've never signed anyone up. So I'm not going to put them in a working coach pod because they're just going to drain energy. So the ones that like put in the work, give them that extra time from you, give them that extra mentorship. They will soar with it instead of just like hanging out, taking it for granted. And people might get upset. It does happen, but in the end, you have to draw the line between friendship and mentorship. That was the biggest thing. My best friend actually quit the business this year, and our friendship kind of crumbled because of it, because I wasn't willing to hold her hand and help her do every single conversation when she'd been a coach for 3 years. I was like, you have to take some sort of control. And I have a few other friends that are coaches. So they know like when I'm mentoring, when I'm on team calls, it's Coach Andrea. It's not friend Andrea. When I'm done with my work for the day, I'll go send them stupid TikToks, right? So drawing that line between friends and mentorship was huge for me this year because they took it seriously because I took it seriously. If you don't have friends on your team, you probably don't have that problem, but I get pretty close with some of my coaches and I have to like draw that line a little bit. Okay. Tip number 4, stop depending or waiting. This is the biggest one that I had this year, actually, is I've had some like OG coaches from 2018, my first few ever coaches, and they always told me how bad they wanted to be diamond. They always wanted to do it. They wanted to make it happen. Guess what? When you have been a coach for 3 years and you have hit Success Club, maybe 3 months out of those probably 36 or 24 months you've been a coach, there's probably something going on. And I still wanted it so bad for them, even if they weren't going to put in the work. And I can't tell you how many like one-on-one calls I got on, and they were like, I want to go full time. Like, I hate my job. And they were like, never at Success Club. And I was like, I don't know how to help you, but I'm going to map it out for you. Stop waiting for the OGs. And if you have a new one that comes in and they are blowing it up, give yourself permission to love on them and give them your time and energy, because that is exactly what happened with us in Elite this year. I had one of my like somewhat OGs do it because I had a newbie come in and do it within 3 weeks. The energy was there. It pissed off one of my other coaches and she quit because she wasn't the first one to pop diamond. That's okay. She didn't want it bad enough to put in the work, and that's what happened. And those people that you think will pop diamond because they want it bad enough probably won't actually hit it. So make sure they're putting in the work and you're drawing the lines with like the friends and the mentorship. And remember that no action is they don't actually want to work the business. They're not like invested enough in it. They're not excited about it. So break it down. The tracker once again goes back to that. Okay, recognition is a very, very, very powerful tool. And I used to think like, I don't understand why recognition's on the vital behaviors. I was always like, this doesn't even make any sense. Duh, when I started using it as like a freaking incredible tool, it changed everything. So it is so underused, and you guys can recognize things more than just Beachbody. So I was always like emerald to diamond. Well, there's a big gap between the two, right? Like, especially if you have newbies, they're like, okay, hit emerald. And they're like, what's next? Well, if they want to hit ruby, but how many people skip ruby? Because they didn't have the emeralds yet. Now I like recognize double emerald and triple emerald, and when they've hit Success Club for the first time ever, and even if they like aren't a success starter because they were a discount coach for a year and a half, I'm still going to be like, they hit it 3 months in a row. I call them an honorary success starter, and I give them their own little like tip of something, because it's when they start working the business if they actually get serious with it. I just send them like a book and some fun stuff, just because they kind of miss out from being a discount coach for however long. But if they do it consistently since they start working, that's awesome. Recognize it. New coaches changing a life. As soon as they do it and I see it in the coach office, I am like posting on our team page. I'm hyping them up in the new like coach thread, because that win for them is huge. That confidence boost. Think back when you were a coach and you signed your first person up. Like, you were on cloud 9. Now it's like, oh, I signed up another person, right? You're like, let's go find 7 more. But the first person I signed up, I remember like running around. I don't even think I had pants on in my like dorm room. And I was like, look at me, I signed up a person. Like, I didn't know how to do that. And I paid like $50. Holy crap, right? They get the same like level of excitement. So use their excitement as like your form of like being excited with them. Like, do the happy dance, send them a voice message, whatever it is. I sent one today and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. I was beyond excited, right? Like driving like an idiot, just doing my thing, voice speaking. But they also, if they're in a pod and you're shouting them out, some people are going to want that recognition and they're going to go sign somebody up. So use that to your advantage both ways. And a lot of the Enneagram types live for recognition, whether it's a post, sharing on your story, or even just you sending them a quick verbal like love in a message or whatever it is. If you want a voice message, or just send them a little like emoji, I don't care. Do what works for you, what they are going to enjoy. But a lot of those Enneagram types, like we talked about it last night on team call, they love that stuff. And it's the little like words of affirmation for a lot of people that do a lot and go a long way. Recognition is insane. Okay, collaborating. And this is something I actually struggled with for a while too. And looking back, like I still sometimes I'm like, I don't really know, but it's been huge for my business. So my team, we run everything team wide. So our boot camp is one big community. I like have the posts, they engage in there, they bring the energy. That's all I ask. They add their people. I also have like all of my pods, they can add their own coaches too, because when I was a coach, I was so scared to like bring in anyone first, because I was like, I don't know how to help them. So especially if you have newbies, like let them be in your groups. If you have leaders, make them do their own groups if they want to. But we really like thrive on our team with the community aspect. So we do a lot of things together. And my new coach pod has a lot of my like diamond leaders, new coaches, and they're also in there to answer questions. It is very nice if you have leaders in your new coach pod or your working coach pods, because when I'm busy and like knee deep in like cow crap in the middle of the yard and my phone's not on me, my leaders get to step up and answer questions. And that's been huge for them as well, to feel like they know what they're doing. Because sometimes you forget like, oh, it's an easy question and I know the answer, and it gives them like a little pat on the back without you being there. And it's just helpful, especially if you're busy. It gives you more like freedom with your time, essentially. Because if it's a simple question in a new coach pod, like how do I sign someone up, even though they should have watched the training, my leaders can answer that. And I can just like keep going on with my day, and I like the message and I move on. That's literally what I do. I use it to my advantage, but also like help them, right? Success partners are awesome. I have never had one until this last year, actually, and it's been a game changer. So if you find someone that pushes you and challenges you and like makes you get hella uncomfortable and calls you out on your crap, that is the right kind of person you need in your life. And they can be a higher rank, a lower rank, but finding someone to run with that has the same why, the same passion, and that you get along with is huge. So my success partner is actually my best friend now, and like we're kind of in different like downline things, but like the same. And we actually like our upline had us turned against each other, thinking we both hated each other, and we're actually the same person. So it turned out pretty fun. But finding that person you can run with is like life changing. It's fantastic. But I didn't have one for 3 years, and I was like, why does everyone have one and I don't have one? So if you don't have one yet, don't stress. And you can totally bring 2 teams together to maximize the leadership and mentorship your like team gets. So Megan and I actually run, she's 3-time elite, I'm 1-time elite. We have different level teams, different things like that. Her team is bigger than mine. We run our working coach pod mentorship together now. We run our new coach mentorship together and our diamond push pods. So we are both there. We both have different styles of work in the business. I'm like 100% Instagram. She's like 99% Facebook. Like we're very different. So having that access to 2 leaders for our teams has been awesome. Plus they get to network outside of just like Team Empowered with Grit and like Empowered Dynasty. So they get to know people and they've made connections, that they've had their little pods inside of that. And that's been huge. And it was hard at first because like I had to let go of some control for my type that I am. but it's been awesome, especially if I have a bad day or I'm struggling with anxiety and like she's super pregnant right now. So when she has babies, I won't be there. And then when I'm in the middle of calving season, she's going to be like, I got you. So collaborate. It's totally cool. I had to learn that collaboration over competition is awesome. It does not matter if someone is a 15-star diamond coach and they want you to speak to their team. It's because they see something in you and they're going to do it vice versa. So never be afraid to connect and work with other coaches. There are plenty of people in the world. They're not going to steal all your people, I promise. That was my fear. I was like, oh, she follows me and like watches my stuff, she's going to steal my people. No, that's not how we work. We're very big on like collabing. You guys will know that as you get into like the round table and move up. But collab is your friend. Tip number 7, new coaches. Just a few tips on this, but helping new coaches get a small win within a few days of signing up to be a coach boosts their confidence like crazy. So use that to your advantage. Even if it is getting someone started with a 3-month bod or 6-month bod or energize or something little. I don't care. Like, yes, it would be awesome if they had a challenge back and they got the PS+1 and all of that jazz to help you hit elite or the hit success club and things like that. But if they don't get any win, their hopes are going to be crushed and they might just quit. And you don't want that. You want them to have a win and then go do something next. But just make sure they know, like, okay, we did this. Let's see if we can find somebody to get like a total solution challenge pack the next time, right? But getting that win, like they're going to stick around. That confidence is going to be there. You're going to see it in their posts. You're going to see it in their stories. It's just going to be awesome. And they're going to keep showing up and know if the tracker and the systems work. And share the importance. I did this like halfway through the year, I think, or like May. Share the importance with them of what it means when they get a point right away, like a Success Club point right away within the month that they signed up for the next month, or when they hit Success Club, like how it helps the team. Because my girls, like, they come into this and we had locked in elite, like we were in qualification as newbies come in that were like, what can I do to help? They want to help you. They joined your team for a reason. So tell them, like, go hit Success Starter. This is awesome for you, but it also benefits the team, because I'm sure you guys, when you found out your team was like, whatever, you guys are hella high, like in the top 100, it's awesome. Like, you're like, I'm part of a top team. It's freaking awesome, right? So let them know that they are making a part in that. I celebrate them. I'm like, you just turned us an elite point. Like, that's awesome. You are rocking it. You're changing lives. And I kind of like give them the whole picture of what they're doing. That way they know like it's a we thing versus just them alone on an island. Especially if they come into a team that's very close-knit and like big on community vibes. When they feel like they're a part of it, they're going to stay around for a long time. And I also help mentor my coaches. So I mentioned that with like collaborating. They're in the groups. They have to participate as well. But as a new coach, especially someone who's a newer diamond, they don't know, or they don't feel like they have the answer to everything. And sometimes they're scared to mentor. So being there to help them answer tough questions is awesome. And eventually, like, I don't handhold, they know that, but they start to like fly their wings and do their own thing. But being there to help them be a little more confident with mentoring and teaching is very helpful. And my last tip is pretty obvious, but you have to lead from the front if you want to lead an elite team, a premier team, you want to have a badass team, you want to build a 6-figure business, whatever it is, you have to lead from the front yourself. And this is where 2019, I really struggled with my own journey, and my team took a backseat with me. So all of the PD consistently, even if you feel like you are like in the best mindset ever, if you stop doing it, you're going to go downhill. I was a PD hater for the first like 3 years of my business. And now like I read for an hour a day probably and listen to PD all the time. 10 times your efforts. It doesn't mean like you have to go hit Success Club 400, but 10 times what you're doing. Send more coaching invites, show up more, like give your workouts everything you got. Just give literally everything you have to what you're doing. And you taking your foot off the gas means your team is going to do the exact same thing. So after we hit elite, I will be straight up and tell you, like, I took my foot off the gas. I was like, cool, we did it. So did my team. And then I had to like lose and build and do all the things. And now we're redoing it. So my goal this year, obviously we're going to hit elite. It's going to happen. And we're going to do all the things, but I'm not going to take my foot off the gas because that's not fair to my team either. Because I had so many coaches that could have hit premier themselves this year. And I was like, I'm going to hang out. I lead from the front. They also get those vibes, and energy is contagious. And if you want your coaches to hit Success Club, you better be hitting higher Success Club numbers. This is the biggest thing I learned. Your coaches are going to do 10 to 20% on the average of what you do, unless you get like a diamond or a diamond in the rough of like coal you have in a little circle here. Literally, like I can go hit Success Club 60 and I'll have 3 coaches at Success Club 6 some months. The next month there might be more, but they're only going to do 10 to 20% of what you do. So if you're bringing in 10 coaches, they're probably going to bring in 1 to the team. make sure you're doing all the things, you're upping your numbers, challenging yourself, getting out of that comfort zone. It will help them get out of the comfort zone right alongside you. All right, that's the end of my little presentation. I will make you the host again. Host.
That was awesome. Holy, it's so nice to hear from like somebody our age, because like sometimes we struggle, like we don't really relate to like you said, those moms or like people that have been in the business for like 10 years. So it's so nice to hear from some. I also started in 2016, so our stories were pretty similar. So many takeaways, like holy crap, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Andrea?
Oh, I don't know why I raised my hand, but it's like, pick me. My question is, I'm always curious to know how are you like inviting? Are you inviting to free groups and kind of going through a funnel process, or do you send an invite right to your challenge group? And then what does your number look like? Because I feel like something we're hearing a lot from our coaches right now is, or even for myself, it has to be like 50 to 100 invites a day to get the numbers that we're looking for. But when I look at what do I want my business to look like long-term, 100 invites a day isn't something that I want to do for the next 5 years. So kind of what's the process?
Yes, perfect. I was actually going to talk on recruiting, and apparently I like blonde momented and it went out the thing. So I will talk about this. I actually do a lot of like public inviting. So I probably send like 15 normal like challenge group invites 5 days a week. Okay. The rest of it is, I've always been a public inviting girl, and a lot of my coaches are not that way. So that transition to like show them that I actually am inviting as well, like through the DMs, was hard. Because I can tell you, like, I still struggle. I'm like, I don't want to be that hey girl person, even though it's a limiting belief. I'm still going through it. It's fine. Show you, I still struggle. But I show them, I'm like, I'm doing it. I send them my invite every single day that I do it. It's on my tracker to challenge myself. But I am unapologetically like posting polls in my story. I'm always talking about like what I have to offer. And I'm a very tough love person. So today I actually went off like in my team page about this, or my leaders chat. Everyone is giving me the excuses of like, I don't have time to work out. Like, I can't even work out for like 30 minutes a day. And I was just getting salty today. And I was like driving home, and I was like speaking to my vehicle to send this voice text or whatever. And I'm a tough love person. So I used to have all the excuses in the world. So I speak from the heart, because I used to say, I don't have time for that. I was taking, you know, all of the college classes. I was working 40 hours a week. Like, I bash excuses every single day in my stories and in my posts, and people know that's how I am. So that's part of it. I've also been super consistent since I started. So if you guys are newer, whether you signed up like 2 or 4 months ago, I guess, or you've been here for a year, 3 years, being consistent and sharing through everything, whether it's good, bad, ugly, amazing, you're on cloud 9 or you're like way down in the dumps, is super important, because my people know, like, I didn't give up on myself when everything happened. I'm not going to give up on them. So I proved that like I'm going to be here for long term. How many coaches do you see that like sign up that quit and just like leave their customers, and the people are like on an island with no coach? It happens. So be that person that is not going to leave. You're going to be here forever. And that like confidence that you portray in your posts and your stories is awesome. But I am a follow-up queen. So like if someone ever asks for info, I'm going to be following up with them every single month because they actually were interested. So that happens a lot, but I definitely like public invite like crazy, I guess. I'm like unapologetic. So I post my stories and I'm like, are you ready to drop your excuses and do it with me today? And then my transformations, I like invite from them usually. And then in regards to coaching, I actually really suck at inviting to coaching unless they are a rockstar challenger. So I honestly look at it this way. Like if someone is half-assing it in the challenge group already, I don't want them on my team, right? So they're not going to do anything anyway. But if they are showing up in our fit club, they are encouraging people, they are posting and asking questions, I'm going to invite them. I'm going to put the bug in their ear like within a week of them signing up, because if they don't even like think about it, 3 months down the road, they're going to get to their goal weight or they're going to quit. Something's going to happen. If you don't get them coaching, they're not going to stick around, right? So I put that bug in their ear. We do monthly webinars. So it's like a webinar in a Facebook group. We live stream in there. Megan and I actually do it together. She's my success partner. So our teams are also together for this. We like hype it up. We talk about it. We invite everyone. It's always in the same Facebook group, because a lot of the girls that I signed up this year to be coaches, like during COVID, watched like 4 of our sessions, like 4 months in a row, heard the same stories, like here's our story, this is how coaching has changed our life, and finally jumped in. It just takes the right like comment, the right moment in time for them to actually do it. But the same people are in the group. We have some of our newer coaches or like leaders go in there and they like share just a picture and like what they do, how coaching has changed their life, how they fit it in the cracks of their day, if they're a mom, if they're a college kid. And then it's usually like 45 minutes of Megan and I live streaming. It's like, here's my story, here's her story. This is what coaches do. This is how the income works. This is how it's changed our life. And then we bash limiting beliefs because usually that's what stops them. So we share our own, which how ridiculous they are. I'm usually like, literally, it's I thought I wouldn't be successful because I wasn't a blonde mom. And we get like real and raw and like we laugh and sometimes we like drink and hang out. We're just very human, and people just hang out with us. So that has been huge. I'm not a high recruiter, but I definitely like love my coaches hard, and that community aspect is huge and put that belief into them. So like this month, I think oh gosh, it's been a weird month. So I'm only at like Success Club 14 right now, I think, but I think 4 out of those are new coaches. So they don't stick around forever, but I would say like 5 to 8 coaches is normal for me. So even if you're bringing in 1 to 2, try to double that. And then you get that consistent, double that again. Just keep taking those baby steps. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, if I like go invite people, it's a good day in Andrea's world because it's hard for me. So just know that even top coaches struggle with those things that are very simple. I have to like hype myself up and like chug Energize and listen to Little John to do it. So there's that.
So you find like when you're doing public inviting, like people actually respond to your polls?
Yeah. So sometimes yes, sometimes no. I hear this from my coaches all the time. They're like, how do you get people to respond? So the biggest thing I've had a lot of my girls do is also put a boot camp application in your bio. If you don't have one, make sure you have one, because also make sure you turn notifications on, because I've had made one in like 2018 and I didn't have notifications on and I didn't see them for like 6 months and there was like 5 of them, but I just totally missed out on people. So make sure you guys do that. I just always leave that as an option, and I make sure people know, like when I'm talking in my stories, make sure you're talking as well in your stories, and like giving it real and raw, telling them what they're going to get. But I'm like, if you fill this out and you give me your goals and your struggles, I will send you info and I will like see what solution is best for you, because I want nothing more than to help them know if this is for them or not. So even if they're like on the fence, I'm like, if you want to know more and just learn, no strings attached, fill this out. And then you know, like, this is their goals. This is how you can help them. Like, you can probably guess a program, know what pack they probably need before you even know, or before you even talk to them. But I'm like unapologetic about it. Like, I would share a poll every single day and I just like, get all the excuses, call them out on their crap, because that's what I needed back in the day. So it depends on your person. But I also share like very personal things from my journey, like little things. Like I used to remember crying in like dressing rooms. So every time I go try on clothes, I definitely post a story, and I have a picture from like 2015 of me crying in a dressing room, and I was not even gained weight yet, but I was such a crappy body image thing. And it's very real. So getting vulnerable, sharing everything of your journey is super important to that part of it. But I'm definitely unapologetic about it. And I'm like, I'm here to help you. So if you're not gonna like put in the work or you don't want to do this, cool, keep watching my stories. But if you want to do it, let's do it, type of thing. Okay. Okay. Hubby. He's going on an adventure. Distracting. We have a baby goat in our house too, and I can hear him screaming at me, so that's fun.
You have a baby goat in your house?
So that's another part of my life. We raise fainting goats, and we're kidding right now. We had a few of them had like quads this year, so I had 4 babies, and they can't handle that very well, so we have bottle babies.
Oh.
So I have 1 here. My mom has 4 in her house because they're newer, and this one's like a week and a half old, and he just wants out to play with my dog right now. So that's also my life. Like the random things, you guys are going to get your engagement going, and then people see your stuff more. Like share the goat video, share your cat being weird, your dog, your kid. I don't know, just the fun stuff. Be a human. Yeah, lambs in the house. Heck yeah. We had bottle calves in the house too when I was growing up, so it's pretty exciting.
I love it. Does anyone else have any questions for her?
Good. You guys all pushing for like Premier and Elite this year? You're gonna make it happen? Raise your hand. You're gonna do it? Yeah. Everyone's like, I'm not gonna say I will, but I'm gonna. Yeah. Good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That was such like a fun call.
Glad I
Again,
could help.
so many takeaways. So thank you so much.
Perfect. Well, thank you for having me.
No problem. Have a good night,
Okay.
guys. Thanks again.
Bye.